turn now to Luke Shrago, our reporter, who's live there. Luke, thanks so much for being with us. Airfields in that part of the country now frequent targets of Russian bombings. How's the Ukrainian military holding up where you are now?
Well, since the war's outbreak with Russia, Ukraine has consistently been calling for aid. They have managed to put up this stiff resistance, but the Russians do have more advanced technology, more advanced systems, and they have more of them. That's not been helped by, during the initial days, Russia's initial attack really targeted Ukraine's defensive and offensive capabilities, targeting airfields and sites, military bases across the country. This Air Force spokesperson was speaking to us, and he told us that any choice to help is now in the West's hands. Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
Ukraine receives different weapons. It's been made public. NLAW anti-tank weapons from Great Britain, Javelin missiles from the USA, and German weaponry too. We're talking about anti-tank and anti-aircraft weapons that can reach 4.5 kilometers in height and 6 kilometers in range. Now we're negotiating with our partners about much more powerful weaponry, aircraft and anti-aircraft systems. We want to show that if they don't provide it to us, Ukraine will be destroyed. Without a strong Ukraine, there'll be no strong Europe.
Now, all of this comes amid even further calls for what people here are calling to close the sky. That's set up a no-fly zone that they've been consistently demanding for some time now.
So Vinnytsia, where you are, is now closer to armed conflict than at any other point in the past few weeks when this invasion began. What's the mood where you are right now?
Well, Vinnytsia sits on this crossroads, as it were, in central Ukraine. It's become this incredibly important route for those fleeing the conflict and the displaced to move towards the west and at least relative safety, mostly heading towards the town of Lviv, where they're hoping to cross the border into Poland and the European Union. We've seen successive waves of displaced head this way, and while the city is at a standstill at this point, many businesses are closed with only essential businesses operating. Life is still soldiering on. Sirens are a consistent feature. We hear several every day, and there is a certain sense of suspicion in the air. There have been these reports of Russian agents operating behind the lines. Every time that we go out into the field to do reporting, every time we stop for a live, we are accosted and stopped by at least 2 or 3 people every single time who are asking what we're doing here. One notable case involved the police arriving about an hour after we were stopped to request information and check on who we actually were, who they'd been reported of us being. Now, most people coming through here, they're not staying very long. They're only staying for a single night to rest up before they move on. The mayor of the city is giving people shelter and aid as needed. There are a few staying a little bit more long term, but he is determined to soldier on, and but he is in no doubt as to the seriousness of the situation, and he has vowed to defend his city with this palpable sense of tension in the air.
Luke Shrago reporting there from Vinnytsia.